Hello everybody, welcome back to the Kerbal Space program. Woo! Anyway guys, today we're going to be making the Valkyrie shuttle from the film Avatar by James Cameron. And if you haven't already seen the film Avatar, I do recommend it, but at the same time I recommend that you skip the weird alien to human interaction that occurs. Yeah, in one part you've got the alien creature holding the human guy, and it's like, I see you, and the person's like, I see you too, but like they're right in front of each other. They don't really need to say that, but whatever weird cultural stuff they got going on, that's there to be kept aside. Don't just lock it up, don't ever look at it, and everything else was okay, you know. And they're gonna have like a new film coming out in 2016, I think. Right now it's 2015, obviously, so you got some time to wait before that film comes out, and a couple other ones, because I think they're making them in sequence pretty soon, actually. Anyways, so the Valkyrie is actually an SSTO, but it's also a VTOL. But in-game, in Kerbal Space Program, we're not making it to be a VTOL. I haven't fully tested its capabilities when when the design was actually complete, but it might be able to orbit Kerbin, and I say might, to... Yeah, that's up to you to test it out, because I haven't tested it out. But it was able to go like 1,000 meters per second in the end, so it works fine, and it looks really good, the end product. So I do recommend, you either stay or just like skip through whatever you want, and you see how pretty it looks. So in the actual design, you'll notice that the main body is actually somewhat wide, and we had to do that using wings in game. I didn't want to have any more fuselages to make it look wider, because, well, that's just dead weight, You're better off using a couple wings here and there, and so at least you'll get some lift from it. So, it's kind of a benefit getting some lift than just fuselages that are there just to make the thing wider. That's, kind of futile. Although we do have those, what do you call them, empty fuselages? Those, what was the name? Damn it. I don't know the name. You know what? I've just lost track of in-game stuff lately. Haven't played for that long. All I do is like subscriber design videos, right? Which doesn't really take much effort, but I love playing and showing off the designs and all. If you notice right here, you look at the cockpit, it's kind of bent upwards slightly, and as a result, if you place the wings the wings are obviously going to be bent in a bent angle. And so I've decided to use the beam there to make it all straight with the rest of the fuselage, the rest of the body. And so it actually looks good. Because in the actual design... Wait a second, is that bent? Oh no, wait. Oh no. Is it bent? I can't tell. Wait, let me look at the images. Let me double check, I might have missed something. No, maybe those meant to be a bend. Let's see. I can't tell. Well, nah, it looks relatively flat. Yeah, it looks flat in the front there. Okay, that's fine. Underneath, it's meant to be flat, not like bent or anything. So I think we've got that correct. It's also meant to be somewhat sharp in the front there, which is why we have the wings placed like that. And I had to come up with some very unique wing placements here. I haven't really done anything like this before. This is somewhat complex, trying to keep it to how the actual design is. And yeah, there's quite a lot of effort put. I recorded about 4 hours worth of footage, but there was more content that I didn't record. So yeah, this is like, right now what you're watching is 4 hours worth of footage condensed. So wow, Heretic, you're so good. Yeah, you know what, I try. Although I haven't really made a video for like a week, maybe about a week or more. Yeah, so right now I'm actually testing everything. I wanted to see if the fuselages there would sort of damage anything whilst opening and closing, because that would be an issue if they couldn't open and close. But anyway, they go through the wings nice and fine, so it's all good having the wings like that. And I wonder what we're doing now. Oh yeah, we're doing the placement, continuing that fuselage shape all the way down to the back there. In the end product, I had to add some extra engines, about 8 turbojet engines, and you will see eventually, but basically they place like right where I'm messing around with the wing there. So I did that because of the what was it, the thrust. Yeah, I wanted the thrust to be in line with the center of mass, because if it's not, then it causes issues. And I've tested this. I had to add quite a lot of wings as well, along with the current shape with all those wings there. I had to add a lot more. So, you know, there's a lot to go here. You'll see, you know, I keep on saying you'll see this, you'll see that, whatever. And we have those cool air intakes there on the sides. If you take a look, I really like that. I really like the placement. You know, I wish curb paint was actually working. You guys know the mod. You can change the color of your design. It doesn't appear to be receiving support anymore. I think that's it. I don't know. Is there any other mod that, you know, can change the color of certain parts? If there is, please tell me in the comments, because I kind of want one, you know. And I'm wondering, is that ever going to be an in-game feature? You guys think, should that be an in-game feature, being able to change the color of the parts? I wonder. Because obviously in real life shuttles and all that, you have like, it might have an orange color for the main thruster or whatever. So colors are somewhat important, you know, instead of the usual white and grayish colors and the occasional stripes of black that you see. And that seemed to work if you noticed how the fuselage was able to open no problem. And at this point, I'm trying to see if I can get the Kerbal out. I don't really have a pathway for the Kerbal to leave the insides of this, what I call fuselage. So, as you see, I'm just trying to jump and it's hard to get on. I should have placed the ladder, but you know what? I'm not going to place the ladder. You guys, this is going to be a challenge altogether. Just trying to get the Kerbal back in, or even into the actual ship itself, because there's not really much of an entrance. I mean, maybe you might be able to go in through underneath, but you need ladders for that. So there's no real entrance or exit for these Kerbals. They're pretty much stuck inside. Poor things. They get abused quite often. And right now, we are working on the main wing, which is eventually going to be doubled up. I have 2 layers of this wing, so this is the current 1 layer that we have, and I'll have another layer. That's just so that the center of lift kind of moves back, because it's very much in the front, very close to the front cockpit. And, you know, that's obviously not a good thing when the center of mass is like, you know, more than halfway behind the craft. Yeah, it doesn't really work out. Although when I first tested it, and maybe you will see that soon enough, when I first tested it with all the actual engines, it managed to lift off. And I was somewhat surprised, but, well, then I looked at the actual design, it was like, oh yeah, center of lift all the way in the front, center of mass all the way in the back. Oh, no wonder. And all of a sudden, when the craft lifted off, it started to flip. That was pretty funny, I think. Of course. But then another problem was with the wheels. The wheels, every time you move the craft on the runway, the craft would either turn left slightly or turn right, and it would keep on doing so until it accelerates in that direction, and then all of a sudden it flips. So that was really annoying. This kept on happening, and also every time it crashed, or maybe almost every time, the craft, my game would actually crash as well. So the craft crashes, my game crashes. This happened like 3 times, 4 times, although it's not really much. But damn, that was irritating, because, you know, crash is like, oh, damn it. You know, you have to load the game again, load the craft, you launch it again, crashes. Although right now we didn't get a crash, which is unusual. I suppose the reason why we didn't get a crash was because all the parts were somewhat distributed. Because if you imagine a craft like this, it has about, what, 400 parts maybe? See, look at this. Just, you launch it and it crashes. Or just smashes, really, not crashes. But yeah, that kept on happening as well. It's like, what's going on? Is it too much weight or something? Because the runway wasn't smashing into pieces. You know, everything was working fine with the runway. And now look at this. We took off the Rocket Max fuel tank that was inside the fuselages in the center there. And it's all good. We just reduced the weight. Simple solution, right? But I want the Rocket Max fuel tank to be there. You know, I want that. And look at this. This is it. This is the rotating thing. Stop it. But anyway, I added some SAS stuff inside, and that seemed to help as well. And also the wings too. I added a few control surfaces, and this is the part where, you know, this is where the center of lift is way in the front, center of mass is in the back. And I was kind of surprised it lifted up. Got off into the air. As you can see now, it's like flipping all over. But, you know, it's handling the G-force and all. Although it's not much. Yeah. And every time this thing crashes in the ocean, I don't get any... the game doesn't crash at all, which is good. I like the ocean for that. It's very interesting. And every time you crash in the ocean, you hear these sounds like tick, 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 tick. Weird sounds, very weird. Yeah, and at this point, we've taken off a few engines because the engines are kind of the center of thrust. Well, the thrust is not in line properly. I'm trying to balance it out with the center of mass, just so everything works fine. And as well, of course, you want this to work at high altitudes. This isn't a working SSTO at the moment, or at least I haven't fully tested it, as I may have mentioned before. So I don't know. You guys test it out, test it, design it. Tell me if it can actually orbit Kerbin. If it does, great, because my original intention was to make this travel all the way to Lathe by itself, but because of current time, I don't have very much time actually. I've kind of put the design off for now, and maybe in the future we might develop it further to actually get to Lathe, or maybe you guys can do that. Either way, you know, we'll get the job done hopefully. But it's a cool looking design, as you see there. Quite a few engines. We have a total of 4 atomic rocket motors, which is not enough. In the end product, we have a total of 8 atomic rocket motors. And look at this. The thing just turns. Stop turning. But every time I noticed it was turning, I added a few struts here and there, because these wheels are actually sitting on the wings. And obviously wings tend to be somewhat flexible, you know, so that's why I've added a few struts from the wing to the main fuselage here and there. And I've tried to keep the struts hidden so it doesn't look terrible. And here is I'm placing the main engines. You'll see that these engines right here, they are meant to pivot, right? And it's crazy that a huge thing like that would move, but I won't even try. Actually, you know what? In the image, I'm looking at this image, and I see the 2 outer engines, or at least the 2. You see, we have engines on the far left, right, and far right on both sides. We have these 2 fuselages with engines connected. I think I see here in the image that those things pivot, but the main engine that I was talking about, that I said pivots, might not actually pivot now. I might have been incorrect. Huh. You know what, I suppose that would make sense. Yeah, because you're moving such a large object, that might be an issue. Okay, maybe I was mistaken. Please correct me in the comments. Yes, please do that. But this here is almost the end product. You'll see that we only have the 4 atomic rocket motors. It's somewhat hard to see. But in the end, we have 4 atomic rocket motors, and you guys will be able to download that in the description. Tell me if the craft looks like the actual design from the film. I think it does, except for the engines, of course. The engines are obviously different. You know, in the actual film, they don't need to adjust between, you know, jet engines and atomic rocket motor engines. I think they have some sort of... Wait, what type of engine do they have? Let's see. Let us see. Oh, I don't know. It's going to take too long to research it. But, you know, I think that's about it. I do hope you guys enjoyed. The maximum speed that we're able to achieve is 1,000 meters per second without the atomic rocket motors being on. So I think that's quite an achievement. Down the link in the description for you to try this out. Please tell me if this thing can orbit Kerbin, and that will do. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Take care.